Na 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 na.
When we first started talking about the sound that the music would make, we kind of thought, well, maybe the score sounds like the Robot City Philharmonic played it. And I think the Blue Men are helping us find that sound of the Philharmonic.
A rhythm, really, sort of a heartbeat, of a mechanical heartbeat, in a way. The clock that we always thought was running in the background of the city, the watch parts, the cycles.
We started in 1988. Kind of why? That's a really good question. I think we were kind of bored with everything we were seeing. We knew there was something out there that was kind of the experience that we wanted to be a part of. We had kind of missed the great movement of the 60s, you know, and we were kind of right on the tail end of punk rock. But we thought, well, why don't we go and create something that we hadn't seen before, something that will be our own movement, our own social scene.
When they approached us from Robots, we thought, well, this is interesting. Tell us more. And they showed us a few scenes from their world. And they said, you know, this is a metallic world. And that was interesting because we had experimented with percussion over the years. We built our own drums, of course, our tube instruments, a lot of other little things like air poles and antennas that slice through the air. We hadn't hit a lot of metal over the years. For some reason, we hadn't been drawn to it. So we thought, well, this will be interesting. What if we just play around with that idea? And we kind of went into the lab and, you know, got the crazy mad scientists that we have here on staff to pull out the arc welding tools. And it's been really fun seeing some of our percussionists and the Blue Man experiment in this more metallic world. And it's still very tribal, some of the things that mean a lot to us.
The idea to work with the Blue Men because of their inventiveness, and that's what the movie's all about. There was no other plan than to get together and see if we could come up with something together and, you know, invent a sound for Robot City.
To hear Chris talk about where he got his inspiration, to hear him talk about his process and what he hoped for from the movie, made us feel excited to be a part of it. The crosstown scene seems like a very important scene in the movie. It sets up a lot of the world that they're in, and I think it's clear that Chris and John are focusing on that. They want it to have a lot of energy, and they want the music to really rise up to the visuals. I mean, the visuals are stunning in that scene, and it's just sort of this there's just every corner you turn around, there's just this whole other world that shows up. So I think what John has been talking to us about is providing this musical combination of, you know, all these sounds that go with all the changes, but then an undercurrent of similarity, like a hum to the city. So if you think of New York, you know, there's a different thing on every corner, but there's an undercurrent rhythm to the whole city. And so there's that mixture of order and chaos that I think John seems to be looking for.
Yo, I tell you, the things that fall off me, it's embarrassing.
The scene is so convoluted that there's so many different sections in it that I've been doing it in pieces rather than trying to stop and follow. This kind of mass percussion section gives it a great weight as well as the tribal, you know, push forward in the rhythm.
Yeah.
And over top of that, obviously, the orchestra's, you know, blaring away.
Yeah.
It's generally a very noisy cue.
No, I did want to ask you when we were going to do the loud part, that's all.
Yes.
we're providing something literal, metal sounds, but I think we're also providing something more abstract, which is this sort of energy that Blue Man represents, kind of a life force, kind of a sense of exuberance, sense of wanting to connect, tribal, a little edgy at times, but ultimately very positive.